Hi guys, Jay Smith here, welcome to AskGolfNut channel and welcome to Titleist T200 irons review. I've already done the 620 CB, the now 5 or 6 year old iron. I've done the T100, the slightly bigger brother, the T150, and now it's time for the T200 irons. I've been trying to get hold of Titleist for 2 years, maybe 18 months or so, and they continue to ignore me. So I've had to buy all of these irons to review myself. We are looking at a completely different design. Where the T100 and T150 are just bigger versions or smaller versions of each other, the T200 has got a chrome outer shell. Now, personally, I'm a lover of chrome and I don't mind this one at all. This is a player's distance hollow bodied design, and so it is bigger than the T150 definitely, but it actually does look quite a nice little thing. Now when we're looking at technology, yes, it has got the same tech, we'd say, as the T150 and T100, but much bigger. But this is hollow bodied, so the face is designed to be much faster, etc, etc. Players distance is players that want more distance, not players that want more forgiveness. People have to get that through their heads. People think that the players distance sector is really forgiving. No, it's not. It's designed to be players which hit the middle, or quite hit the middle fairly well, that want more distance, not necessarily want more forgiveness. We will test the forgiveness anyway. We'll hit this all over the face, get the normal heat map data to see where and how by how much you lose when you don't hit the middle. We'll also test it to 70, 80 and 90 miles an hour, because not everyone swings at tour speeds. I will be trying to swing around about 90 miles an hour, my normal speed, but we'll also do the testing for slower swing speeds because, again, different golfers swing at different speeds. Top lines, we have definitely starting to get a little bit thicker, but because we got a chrome barring on the back and a little bit of a heavy chamfering, the top line does not look as big as it actually is. We're looking at the sole thicknesses again. It is bigger than T150, but because of that chroming, the light bounces around and it doesn't necessarily look as big as the T150. But when you go blade lengths, yes, this is getting a little bit bigger now. Down by the golf ball, it has got a tiny amount of offset, but these T series of irons haven't got that much of offset. Now, of course, I have got the T350 and the T400 to go, and they are much bigger. This is not strong lofted, 30.5 degrees. It's nowhere near as strong as the 26 degrees T400. That is mental. That's like a hybrid more than anything else. Right, let's go give this one a hit. I've got this into a green about 199 yards, I think it is, but we are somewhat downhill and we're on the Sunday pin position. So I apologize already if I miss the green and make myself look stupid, because really short right is where you should be hitting this. This is YouTube. We are going straight at it. Well, subject to my ability to be out of control of club face, that is. Right, go give it a hit. It does look a decent looking iron down by the golf ball. Now that's decent. That's slightly toey, but that's decent. Get up there. We are on the putting surface. That is a win. Club speed 90.1 miles an hour, club path 1.9 from the inside, and face is basically 0 to that. That's why we had a little bit of a baby push. 9mm toe, 3mm low. There is the low strike. I could feel that one straight away. I don't know by how much, I can just feel it's toey. There's a progression going through from the 620 CB. The CB felt harder than I was expecting it to. I felt that the CB was going to be softer than it actually was, but it gave you very, very good definition of understanding exactly where you're hitting on the face. You could do it near enough to the millimeter. The T100, very, very similar, very, very close to understanding exactly where you're hitting it. Now you're starting to get in T150, starting to not say vague, not at all, but it's starting to lose a little bit of feel. This one, yes, as we're starting to go T200, I can tell it was toey, but I don't know by how much. But it's going 39 yards in the air and 50 degrees descent angle. That is up there, 173 yards. Now this is 30.5 degrees of loft, so we are expecting it's going to be around about 175, 176 maybe, and 199 or so yards might be a little bit too much to ask, but we'll give it another go. Considering that was a miss hit and it hit the green, I'm taking that as a win. Oh, now that is very, very close to being very, very bad. Get right a bit if you can. Oh no, that's not good. Club head speed 91.6 miles an hour, club path 1.5 from the inside face, 1.9 degrees closed, too much turn. That's what it was caused. It was 10 yards offline, which isn't a bad miss, especially at near on, what, 190 or so yards away. It's just a case of, it's a really difficult pin placement. 38 yards in the air, again, 49 degrees descent angle. That's working really quite well. Strike was very good. 0 mil toe, 3 mil low. Can't complain at all. Felt explosive. There was a distinct difference in feel between the T100, the 620 CB, the T100, T150. You go to this and it is a, oh, okay, that's different. If you are blending the T150 with a T200, beware that you are going to feel somewhat difference in strike. This feels much more explosive. Very much so, much more explosive. There's a big step. There's a tiny step between the CB and the 100, tiny step again between the 100 and 150. Fairly decent size step between the 150 and 200. It's distinctly louder, crisper, more explosive. It's going 184 yards. 184, that's a long way. But we would have been on the green if I didn't tug it. I mean, that was overcritical maybe. Right, give it another go. I feel I'm doing all right so far. I am not missing left. That is push city, and I'm a chicken, I know, but that is target. Club speed 92.5 miles an hour, club path 1.2 from the inside again. This time the face is definitely not closing, 1.8 degrees open. That means we're missing about 7-8 yards off to the right hand side. 3 mil toe, 3 mil low, good strike, cannot complain, very crisp on its strike, mind. And we're looking at 41.5 yards in the air and 51 degrees descent angle. These greens are set uber fast and uber firm. It definitely feels crisper. It's more fun. Yes, in a driving iron, I'd want it. Not necessarily my set. That's a personal thing. I'm not saying that's good or bad. That's just a personal thing to me. So let's go give it another hit. Now, should I go for the pit? Oh, I don't know. Should I chicken out or not? And it's not a good idea me going for the green though. Going for the pin. Oh my word. That'd be low on the face. And that would be low on the face. Look how much distance you lose. Yeah. Well, as you can see, that's not the best strike on the planet. 92 miles an hour, so club speed exactly the same. Path, face to path, no real different. Strike, not so great. 6 mil heel, 12 lovelies low. Yeah, that's fairly thin. Although we have got tungsten and everything in this one, and obviously we have got a lot more room in this golf club than the T100 and the T150 to put more bigger lumps of tungsten in there, and it's dropping to 1.29 efficiency. It will be an interesting heat map, I think, with this golf club. I'm not quite sure when we get everything loft adjusted, face to path adjusted, all those different things to try and make it as fair as we possibly can do to see the heat maps. But initially on a miss hit, as a miss hit, 30 yards in the air, 31 yards in the air, it's still doing 45.9 degrees descent angle, so it's still doing fairly well, but that's because I'm swinging at 92 miles an hour. You get this in the hands of a golfer that doesn't swing 92 miles an hour, and that might be a bit more interesting. Right, one more go. Let's see if we can do a half decent job getting close-ish to the pin. Oh, it's turning. I thought that was going to be good to start with, but it's turning. It's turning the wrong way. Get off of that stuff. Just in the rough. Club head speed 90 miles an hour, 90.1. Club path 1.6 from the inside. Face slightly over closing, 1.2 degree. I mean, that's pretty darn decent draw dynamics. I mean, it's going 180 yards at 7 yards offline. That is not a bad shot at all from that distance. Of course, just where we are, making it look far worse than it actually was. 3 millimeters heel, 2 millimeters high. It's a decent strike. I mean, I can't complain at that whatsoever. It's going 37 yards in the air, 48 degrees descent angle. It's working. just if I wasn't at the hole that I am playing at. But the strike, yes, it does feel crisper, definitely more explosive. There's a big difference between this and the T150. So I would say if you're going to be blending the T150 with the T200, just be wary of the fact that there is going to be a different sound, if that might bother you or not. Some people care, some people don't, about looks and also feel. Let's go hit this all over the face. Let's go and understand how well it works, or how good it is at retaining ball speed when you don't hit the middle. Let's also go test it 70, 80 and 90 miles an hour, because we all don't swing at 90 or so miles an hour. Let's go see how good the T200 is from Titleist at different golfers' swing speeds. So before we go into how well this works at 3 different swing speeds, 70, 80, 90 miles an hour, and also how well it does at keeping ball speed up across the face, I think it's important to reiterate that this is a player's distance iron, not a player's forgiveness iron. People think commonly that anything in the player's distance sector is really forgiving, when actually that's not the point of it. It's the point of a player's distance is for players who hit the middle quite well to get more distance, not necessarily for forgiveness. So let's go have a look at the forgiveness first. Let's have a look at the heat maps first, and then we'll do the 70, 80 and 90 miles an hour. On the screen you can see we've got the information for the heat map. If you haven't seen these before, these are a representation of how much ball speed is lost when you don't hit the middle, how many percentage drop of ball speed. So you've got 0 in the middle is 0%, and then it radiates out in the normal colours. At the top there you can see we've got plus 22 on the left hand side, that is the toe. We've got minus 22 on the right hand side, that is the heel. We've also got high and low, we're looking at it as though it's face on. We've got that blue line, that is turf interaction line. Basically that means if you're going to be hitting the golf ball higher than 5 or 6 millimeters high on the face, you're going to be interacting with the ground first. No one likes hitting a chunk, a fat, or whatever you want to call it. So if you're going to be hitting 5 or 6 millimeters or higher on the face, then you are going to be hitting the ground first. But you can see the relatively small size of this green blob. Now Titleist do make obviously quite a few different irons in their range, and they have in their range got a mixture of not very forgiving irons and pretty good forgiveness irons, and this I would say absolutely is definitely in the not very forgiving bracket. You can see how much ball speed you lose when you don't hit the middle, go all the way to say 20 or so millimeters off the toe, and you are losing 6% of your ball speed, because this is a flat-faced iron, not a roll and bulge driver, fairy wood or something like hybrid. Ball speed is directly correlative to distance, and of course if you're going to lose 6% of your ball speed, you are going to be losing 6% of your distance, which is quite a big chunk. No different if you go over to the heel. If you go 20 or so millimeters off of the heel, again we are in the 6%. It is fairly linear, this head. Again, you've got the middle, which is the middle, and it likes being hit off the middle, but it just does not like being hit anywhere other than the middle. If you go low on the face as well, it doesn't take long before you go back into the 6% as well. So absolutely, this golf club is for someone who hits the middle but wants more distance. It's very, very good at getting more distance and how it delivers launch angle, etc. It's just a case, please don't miss-hit it. To see how well this works in the forgiveness, also flight side of things, we use what we call the radar chart. Now the radar chart, as with the heat maps and also the SelfFit tool that will show the 70, 80, 90 miles an hour in a second, it is all from my website www.askgolfnut.com, where the website members can compare this against other 80 or so irons that we currently have on the database, and you can compare them in forgiveness and then also how they deliver launch angles, spin rates, face speeds and all that idea. So let's have a look at how this one compares to the average. Now we've got the average in blue. This is the average across all of the 80 or so irons that we have on the database, and let's compare it directly to the T200. Off the toe you can see that it's not very forgiving at all. The red is quite considerably lower than the average, and bear in mind on the average we do have a range between super game improvement irons all the way down to players irons, and so this does not do well. If you go off the heel, again it does not do well. It is lower than the average forgiveness, considering the range of different golf clubs that we have on there. Low on the face, again, does not do well. It is not very forgiving at all, this golf club, of anywhere on the face. And you can see overall forgiveness is quite considerably lower than the average. This is where it changes though, because obviously this is a player's distance iron, so it is built to be more distance orientated. So it has a very fast face. You can see their face speed is faster than that of the average. Face spin rate and also launch factor. This is the quite unique thing from the T150 all the way up. It does like launching the golf ball fairly well, and it also does have a very good face spin rate as well. So this will be really very, very good for the slow swinging golfer. We'll get into that one in a second. So you can just see how the different dynamics of a head change flights. No, it's not very forgiving, but it's not designed to be. It's designed to be of players, distance iron, hit out the middle, it works extremely well. So to the SelfFit tool, where we'll have a look at the 70, 80 and 90 miles an hour. Let's go see how well it works at 3 different swing speeds. So we have the information there for the Titleist T200 in light blue. Let's have a look at the 7 iron, and for a 7 iron at 70 miles an hour, you can see at the very top there, I've got 70 mile an hour selected, -2 on the angle of attack and also -2 on the shaft lean. This is for basically the gold tier members, and you can change the sliders at the top there to effectively personalize your own flight. Some people hit down more than others, some people are more shallow, some people lean the shaft, de-loft effectively more, and if you need any help or assistance in understanding what your dynamics or characteristics are, you can get me on the information down below. The Discord is possibly the best way to do it. But you can see for the 7 iron we have a distance of 131 yards, pretty darn decent, considering if you were to look at this in the T100, there's about 10 yards or so difference between the T100 and T200, yet there's only about a degree difference in the descent angle, so it just goes to show how good the T200 is at getting the golf ball launching. Yes, it's not very forgiving, we know that one, but how it actually performs when it comes to being hit in the middle, it's doing extremely well. 131 yards from a 70 mile an hour swing speed and functional into a green is pretty darn good. 80 miles an hour, that same 7 iron is going 152 yards. Just very quickly, that's the max carry. The average carry is what happens when you hit a nominal miss hit, when you hit, say, ½ inch or so around the face. What is your average drop off in distance? And there you can see you've got the 8 or so yards. Now, 8 or so yards is quite a big chunk to miss, especially when you're only moving ½ or so inch away from the middle. And different golf clubs that have different amounts of forgiveness will be closer to the max and then further away from the max. That's just the difference between more forgiveness or less forgiveness. Going 31 yards in the air and 47.4 degrees descent angle. More than functional. And when you look at these, obviously very, very good hits. These are center strikes, and of course if you do move around the face, of course you can see the difference in your carry, and also your descent angle will change as well. So you do have to bear it in mind, especially when you go into your 6 iron and even 5 iron at 44 degrees. Yes, it's functional, but these again are perfect strikes. Not every single individual hits the golf ball perfectly. So for the full-on 90 miles an hour, you can see that same 7 iron going 169 yards, 161 yards or so for the average carry, 40 yards in the air and 50 degrees descent angle. Of course, when you've got that amount of speed, every golf club works pretty darn well. But with the launch factor of the T200, you can even make the 4 iron functional. And again, 46 degrees is the descent angle, but that is from a good hit. So I would be wary if you are going to be hitting 4 irons, etc., about your pattern of strike. And if you do miss the middle, then you may want to go into something like even a 4 hybrid. I personally play myself a 4 hybrid, even though I could probably use a 4 iron. The roll and bulge of a hybrid is just much more forgiving when you don't hit the middle. As a conclusion to the T200 from Titleist, it's an interesting golf. Let's go by looks, feel, performance and forgiveness. Looks and feel first. Looks wise, it's possibly one of my favourites because it's chrome. I personally like chrome. Again, this is the subjectivity part and it's my personal opinions when it comes to looks and feel. Either listen to me or ignore me depending on what you like. But I do like the chrome. I like the fact that it is a medium-sized golf club. It's mainly when it comes to the performance of this golf club. It's a player's distance iron, which means you need to be hitting it out the middle. People do feel that that player's distance iron is more forgiving, which it actually is designed not to be. It's very difficult to make a golf club really fast out of the middle, yet still make the outsides, the perimeters, the toe, heel and low, faster, because you get a natural drop-off of efficiency or smash factor when you don't hit the middle. They need to make them faster. That's really very, very difficult within the realms of the regulations of golf. And so commonly, when you're looking at making a player's size iron very, very quick out the middle to try and make it as fast and as distance oriented as possible to also make it forgiving. This is where the problem most people find when you look at the information, you actually measure the information, just how generally players' distance irons aren't that good at forgiveness. Hope you liked the video. If you did, go on, hit that little like button down there, thumbs up, YouTube like so do I. Down there also is a subscribe button. It is free. It is great for the channel if you could subscribe, so thank you. Next, that one is a bell icon. That is a notification bell. If you click that one, that'll let you know next time I upload another video. Hope you're well. See you again soon.